Hello and welcome to this video, the first video of 2026. Happy New Year to you all. This video comes from our new garden. I say new, we've been here 6 months now. You've seen some of the work I've been doing. Been doing a lot of work in the house, starting to come outside again now, get some of this outside work undertaken, so I'm ready for springtime. Purpose of today's video is I'm going to be creating a dead hedge. I will explain what a dead hedge is exactly in a moment, but it's going to be alongside the back of this sort of pergola raised pavilion area that was already here when we moved in. It's down the very bottom of this long garden, as you may remember. It's a very large garden here, part of the reason why we bought it. Lots of potential for doing some lovely landscaping and wildlife friendly works. So a dead hedge is going to be provide us some shelter. As you can see, we've got the end of one of the gardens that backs onto us here, and it's quite open. Not that I've got any trouble with that neighbour at all, but it's very open. I want to be able to use this area once I've tidied it up. So this is a perfect place for a dead hedge to be created. I'm also going to be creating dead hedges all the way down here. Reason being, it's a good place for all of the cuttings, all the branches that I've got in this garden to be placed. It's going to create a structure, it's going to create shelter, a place for wildlife to take refuge from rain. It's going to be a place for them to hunt, and also it's just going to provide a natural looking barrier between us and the other gardens. We've got some hedging down there, some trees, but I'm basically going to be creating these areas. I'm going to turn the camera around in a moment and show you exactly what I mean. Okay, this is the area I'm going to be clearing. There's lots of brambles and leaf debris here. I need to get this leveled off so I can get my posts hammered into the ground. I'll be using 2.4 meter posts. They're 60mm diameter, and I'm going to be hammering them in pairs like this at regular intervals along here. As you can see, we've got an existing wire fence that doesn't really give much privacy at all. Cut the posts are broken down there. It's kind of doing a job, you know, in terms of keeping pets out, but it doesn't look very good, and like I say, the privacy isn't there, and it's not really doing much for wildlife at all. Ideally, I would like to take this fence out, so when I create this dead hedge, it would also act like a natural hedgerow where, you know, badgers, foxes, mammals, hedgehogs even, can move between the land. But I don't own this fence, so I can't really take this down. So I'm going to do the next best thing, which is to create a dead hedge in front of it on my side, build it up. I'm going to work my way down to that section there, but this video is going to focus mostly on this part, and then no doubt I will be doing some update videos when this dead hedge increases in size, and it's going to increase in size from all the cuttings in the garden. So I say I'm going to be creating the basic structure with posts hammered in the ground here, starting with the larger diameter offcuts of branches at the bottom. We can fill in the middle with grass, offcuts, leaves, pieces of the hedging, the more foliage areas, diagonal areas of branch putting up, so it just creates a nice natural looking structure. So this is going to provide the habitat, hunting ground for mammals and birds, nesting. It's also going to help improve the soil, because obviously as these natural products decompose down, they're going to sink into the soil beneath them. Obviously then that's going to then lower the height of the fence eventually, and that way we can then put more of the offcuts inside. So it's going to be, you know, an ongoing thing, which is great, because say in this garden, it's a large garden, there's lots of trees, lots of hedging, lots of branches, and it's going to be continually topped up. As you can see here, I've already got some piles of branches, different sizes, different shapes I've arranged. This is all from the apple trees, the archway just over that way there. These trees are nearly 70 years old. A lot of the name tags say they were planted 1958, 1959. So I've given them a good cut back. They haven't been touched in years. A lot of overhanging. So I've tidied them up, and these are going to be the starting point for our dead hedge today. So without any more waffle, let's get this area cleared, and then we can start getting these posts in to form the basic structure. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing first, I'm going to get the larger cuttings, I'm going to put them on the outsides here. I'm going to get some of the smaller sections of the brash in the middle, along with the greener cuttings. They're going to compost down first. What that's going to do is when that starts rotting, that's going to eventually start creating some fungus, some mushrooms. That's going to attract then some beetles, millipedes, centipedes. It's going to have a whole new colony living under here. Then that's going to give the birds something to feed on as well as nesting in the actual dead hedge itself. So that's all fantastic. So we're going to be building up a mini ecosystem within this hedge. And I say, you're going to be pressing it down to start with, compacting it. Over time, it's going to rot away, it's going to drop down, and you've got to keep feeding it. Sounds a bit funny because it's a dead hedge, but you've got to feed it because over time, it's going to start rotting down, and then you can come along with your next cuttings for the next year, put it on top, and you can start all over again. Anyway, let's start getting these pieces in. You can see just treading that down, compacting it, and we just keep going like that. So right here I've wound this piece around from the inside to the out. I've done the opposite further there, and it's just a case of using these as your main structural strength and then filling in the middle. So as you can see, it's starting to take shape. I've got the outside pieces of branch. Some of them, the shorter ones, are kind of just supported between the meter posts. The longer ones I've wrapped in and out, so that's given a great structural strength. And in the middle is where the smaller brash cuttings are going. It's almost like a long nest, if you like, the way the structure's around the outside, filling in the middle, and then I'll bring the level up with the outside branch work. And then again, you don't have to fill this with soft, you could just do this completely with branches, you know, whatever you've got available. But I like to do a mix. More diversity you've got in there, different kinds of insects and wildlife you're going to attract, like I say, mostly to do with the composting down of this greener material in the middle is going to bring a whole different group of insects than just having dry wood, if you like, in the middle. So I'm going to continue filling this section up, get to the next level, and then we'll get some more outside supports in. Just a little stopping proceedings just to give you an update. It's coming on quite nicely now. Took a while for it to start showing because it's about 1.5 feet deep off this sort of pavilion section, so I had to sort of get that high when it started showing. So it's all going very well, as I've just said. I've had lots of robins taking an interest in this already, which is fantastic. Just a couple more tips really, apart from the weaving in and out idea. Once you get to a point where it's awkward to tip a barrow or a bucket with your smaller brush into that middle section, a good idea is to build up a bit of height on the back edge, fill in the middle, and then bring up the front side, as it were. So again, I've got these posts spaced 1 meter, so anything that's kind of sort of 2.5 meters long, I'm winding alternate between posts. Anything that's about 1 meter, I'm bracing against 2 posts, where it's those or those, just so I've got something to push against. And then all the smaller pieces are just going in the middle with the sort of leaf cuttings and the smaller brush. That way you've got a sturdy outside, everything's pushing out to the posts, and you're going to end up with something that's very secure, not going to go anywhere, yet will still allow lots of nesting and burrowing possibilities in the smaller gaps. Right, let's keep going. Okay, so just a little run through of how I'm cutting these branches to select the various size pieces. So as you can see, I've got quite a decent sized branch here. I want to try and keep the longer length as best I can so I can weave in and out of the posts. Shorter ones, less than 1 meter, will be used in the middle, like I said before. So as you can see, this branch splits off here. Now this side is obviously a lot longer, so I will be cutting this side shoot off. That's just over 1 meter, so that will be a nice support. This one's smaller, that'll go in the middle. This one here, again, I will use that main run, cut off those 2 side sections. They look like they're going to be over 1 meter, so all of those sections are going to be nice sideways branches, supports if you like, against the post. And then I'm going to keep this main run, this section here, nip off that one there, that'll be another +metre section, all the way up to there. And then that will be a nice one to wind in and out of the post. So that's just how I sort of eyeball a branch and how I'm going to cut it before I actually start doing it. Let's see that in action. Okay, so let's work our way up branch. So I take off this nice section here, snap that one back. That's a nice section. Do 2 posts worth. Little short one here. That's a bit of filler in the middle. Take off this limb here. Snap these smaller ones back. You don't actually have to cut them this time of year. They haven't got much sap in, so they can be snapped quite easily. That's going to be another nice section. That one there. A bit of middle filler. And I'm going to keep this sort of curve here. It might give an interesting shape. So this one's a little bit thicker here. So again, snap down these smaller sections. Again, that's going to give a nice winding section through a couple of posts. That one. So I've got the main run, as I said, going through here. That's my longest side. So take off that limb there, snap those back. Trim these ones off. These will all be used as filler. Working our way up. It's important to have a pretty nice knife if you're doing this. It's nice and sharp. Snap them off. Then we have a nice long run that's going to probably weave in and out of 3 posts, maybe even 4. We'll see how we go. So here we have it for now. I've used up all of this season's brash and cuttings and whatever else you want to call them. I'm pretty happy with that at the moment. Now obviously this is going to eventually continue all the way down this side of the garden here, which will be another video for another time. And also I'd like to just go along this back section up to where that brick pier is. Like I say, that's going to take a lot more of these cuttings. I mean, there's about, done a bit of a rough calculation, around about 9 1/4, 9.5 cubic meters of brash in here. So it's 2 foot wide, nice thick hedge. Loads of robins the last few days doing this, in and out of here, investigating it, which is fantastic. Hopefully we get some nesting in there. Well, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, giving you some ideas on what you can do with the cuttings from your own garden. It doesn't have to be something as big as this currently is, or hopefully will be even bigger. Just a small section of dead hedge can really help birds, the insect life, give them a nesting place to hunt, all the good things that you want in your garden to attract the wildlife in. So if you'd like one of these in your garden, but you don't feel you've either got the skill or the time to create one, give me a call, give me an email. I would love to hear from you and let me create your own dead hedge from your own garden cuttings. I mean, it's got to be better than turning them into a nasty, stinky old bonfire, being completely antisocial, but I won't go any more about that subject. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned throughout the year. I'm going to give you updates about how all these other pieces, or sections I should say, of the dead hedge are advancing and what sort of wildlife we're attracting in the current one. So until then, thanks for watching. Bye bye.